And I'm here as well.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Mayor
That's
O'Connor.
That's okay. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the August 17th meeting?
So move.
Second.
Any corrections or additions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. There are no appearances tonight. There is no unfinished business. I guess we're still, let's see, we're still waiting for, under new business, for a representative from the bond company. So should we move on to item 6B for now and we can come back to that?
Yep.
Okay, under new business then, item 6B, consideration of resolution 20-9-2434, amending the boundary of tax increment district number 5. Is there a motion to approve this?
So move.
Second.
Brian, were you going to address this or Mark?
Yeah, thank you. So this is a package of sort of 3 different housekeeping amendments that we're going to talk about this evening at Finance, Personnel, and Council. CDA has already reviewed and approved these. Joint Review Board has met once to review the 3 items, and we'll review them again after the City Council has had an opportunity to have a second reading on these at their September 21st meeting. They will meet on the 22nd to review these as well. What this first one is basically to remove, I believe it's about 7 properties from TID District 5, which is the Garden Circle TIF district. Remove them from the boundaries because they're underperforming and providing a negative impact on the district. So by removing these parcels from the district, it allows us to capture the value a little bit more quickly and move to close that district in a couple of years. So that's the first one. And then we have 2 other amendments I can talk about in just a moment. And Gary Becker, who is our TIF consultant, will be on the City Council meeting this evening to provide any more technical information should the council need it.
Any questions about this first one?
Nope.
Nope.
Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next, item 6C, consideration of resolution 20-9-2435, approving an allocation amendment of tax increment district number 6. Is there a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Second.
Brian?
Okay, thank you.
Anything further?
Yep, this is an allocation amendment, meaning it allows us to use any excess increment from TIF District 6, which is the clinics property, UW Clinics property, utilize that good increment or the increment above kind of our projections to pay any other districts that we set aside as part of this allocation agreement. So our thought was to include districts 4, 5, 7, and 9 as the receiving districts from this allocation agreement. And at a later date, we would make a determination what, if anything, we would allocate to these various districts. So what the council is being asked to approve tonight is just to set up the mechanism. The actual policy decision on what and where that excess revenue goes would be a future decision for the council.
Doug?
You said 7 would be one of the recipients. That's not one that's listed.
Oh, yep, you're right. Sorry.
So 4,
5, and 9. Yeah,
So are we clear on that?
yeah, 4, 5, and 9.
4, 5, and 9. Okay. Kathy, did you have anything else on that?
Nope.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
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 Motion passes. Item D, consideration of resolution 20-9-2436, approving an allocation amendment of tax increment district number 8. Is there a
And this-
motion?
Sorry, go ahead.
Move approval.
Second.
Brian, anything further on this one?
This is similar to the last one. Again, the only difference would be that this would be for district number 8, which is formerly Tresta, to be the donor district for 4, 5, and 9.
Questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, item 6E, consideration of resolution 20-9-2432, award of bid for the Capital City Bike Trail Connection Project. Is there a motion to approve this?
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I have a question.
I'm sorry. Dan was going to ask about it, or talk about it. I'm sorry, Kathy, what?
Well, let Dan talk about it and then I'll ask a question.
Sorry, I got ahead of myself there. I'm sorry. Dan,
Thank you, Mayor. So we have the recommended approval by the Public Works Committee from the September 2nd meeting. We received 2 bids on September 2nd for the Capital City Bike Trail project. We have $75,000 in total funding in our 2019 capital budget. Dane County Contracting provided the low bid for this project for amount of $46,650. We are looking to get recommended approval tonight from the Finance Committee, as well as City Council in one reading tonight due to the timeline that we have to finish the project. The OCR, the Office of the Railroad, set a deadline date of December 31st, 2020. But that's not a true date in that the asphalt plants that we would be using for asphalt would shut down at the end of October, early November. So we really have the month of September and October to get this project done. Part of the project consists of the railroad costs. We have $21,550 dedicated to railroad materials, and the railroad will be subcontracting for their portion of the work as well. So everything we have so far will come in under our $75,000 capital budget cost.
questions, anyone?
Well, I can hear an echo from myself.
We're gonna mute one of yours so the echo goes away.
We have 3 of you on the screen here, so.
Well, I cannot hear any of you. I'm going to close down.
My screen because cannot hear you guys. And now I hear feedback. Anyway, my question is, and I may be
I think your phone is muted, it looks like.
Oh, okay.
Kathy, if you're still there, I think you need to unmute your phone. Brian and Will, can you tell anything on your end?
She has to unmute for us.
Kathy, could you unmute your phone if you can hear me? Is your phone unmuted, Kathy? Don't know what's going on there.
All I can really do is ask her to unmute, and that's what I've done.
Okay. Can we keep her on the phone one, but disconnect her from the video and I can have her re-sign in from the video?
So I don't know which one she's really having problems with and why. probably unmute.
She's calling me. Hi, Kathy. Okay, usually, I think on my phone, there's a button that says mute. There's nothing on, just on your hand, the part in your hand that says mute. You still there? Okay. Okay. Mhm. Oh, okay. Okay, I will ask. Why don't you hang on while I ask the question and make sure I understand what you're talking about. Kathy says there's a state law that says you can't run a bike path on a side. It's illegal to ride on a sidewalk unless there's a special provision in city ordinance to allow you to do so. So she's wondering if we need to change the ordinance. Doug?
So our ordinance right now only prohibits biking on the sidewalk on the north end of Monona Drive down to Winnequa Road, and also around on the boardwalk at River Place.
So did you hear that, Kathy? Okay, I'll explain to you in a minute. So that wouldn't affect, we don't need to worry about that as the upshot. Our ordinance doesn't affect that sidewalk in that area. Okay. She said it's not our ordinance, it's state law that you can't allow a sidewalk, a bike path to run on a sidewalk, except for little children.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, we've had that ordinance. I mean, I know what the ordinance says for sure. State law, I don't think addresses it.
Okay, all right. Well, we can always pass it on to council and we can talk about it at council. So you're going to try to get in on your computer again, is that right? Oh, okay. All right. Okay, sounds good. Okay, bye. She's getting a message that she has an unstable connection, so she's going to try to do it from her personal computer. So, Dan?
Just to add to that, I'm not sure that's the case because I know in McFarland, we have a lot of sidewalks that connect to the asphalt bike paths that they have throughout the village here. We're talking the entire length of the village of McFarland where many, almost all of the sidewalks that come up to the path connect to it. So I'm not sure if that's a state law.
Well, we can always pass this on to council and then decide it there and maybe do some research or something if we have time in the meantime. Or go ahead with the project anyway and then change once it's done. So any other questions? Okay, hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Alder Wood,
Aye.
Alder Thomas,
I think I'm gonna have to vote on this one, Joan, because Kathy's still trying to get in,
all right,
and I'll vote aye.
okay.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
All right. Next item, consideration 6F, consideration of resolution 20-9-2433, approving an employment agreement for the position of Fire Chief EMS Director, Jeremy Mcmullen, who is just joined us on his screen there. Is there a motion to approve this?
So moved.
I'll second. Brian, did you want to
Yeah, thank you.
do an intro?
I put in a cover memo in your packet, which kind of laid out the process we went through. Ultimately, after getting 29 candidates for this round and conducting a round of interviews, the Police and Fire Commission has selected Jeremy Mcmullen to become the new Fire Chief EMS Director. And Jeremy is on the Zoom call with us. First we called Jerry. So we're excited to have him come work for the city of Monona. He's got a very strong background in both fire service and EMS. His tentative first day with the city would be October 1st. And we are just pending one small piece of the background check that we're waiting for information from the city of Madison. So this approval tonight would be contingent upon the full completion of that, which we're expecting in the next couple of days. So staff would recommend committee approval of the contract and send it on to the city council for their review tonight. And if you have any questions, otherwise I can have Jeremy just introduce himself and tell you a little bit about his background.
Doug, did you have any questions?
No.
Jerry, would you like to?
Certainly.
Chime
Thank you,
in?
Mayor. And thank you, Brian. It's been a process. I just wanted to stop in and say hi and introduce myself. I live in Deerfield. My wife and I first lived just outside of Monona. We moved up here to Wisconsin over 20 years ago now. I've always enjoyed Monona, and been a paramedic EMT since 2006. Been a paramedic lieutenant for the last 14 years. Fire and EMS almost 20 years at this point. Been with the city for 18 years. I saw a lot of really good opportunities with Monona, which is why I put my application in. It was a difficult decision to leave the city after 18 years, but I saw a lot of really good opportunities with Monona. So I appreciate the vote, and I look forward to joining the city.
We're happy to hear that. We're happy to have you.
Welcome.
Jerry already knows quite a few of our firefighters, and he's known Dan for years, and so it's not a totally unfamiliar situation. And you've also stopped in at the station several times, haven't you already? And
Yes.
meet with people. So Doug, did you have anything to?
No, just congratulations and welcome to the city of Monona.
Thank you.
We're happy to get the position filled, but not as happy as Dan Eckloff probably is. Okay, well, if there aren't any other questions, all in favor of approving the contract, say aye.
All right.
Aye. No one opposed. So the resolution's approved, and we'll move it on to city council, which will be starting at 7. Jerry, if you want to take a little break for a while, it's up to you. How do you want to handle this bond question, Brian? I don't see any. Have we heard from the person from Jeff's firm?
Email and text somebody right now, and I haven't got a response back. And I sent the stuff earlier today because Jeff was asking. So I don't know what's going on, and I'm trying to get a hold of Jeff now and see if and the other person, Jim Miller, no response. But they did both. Jeff did send me the information for the bond stuff, and I don't know if you want Jeff to do it, but the rates we got are incredible. I mean, I could go over that too, if that's something you're okay with.
Yeah, Mark, why don't you just give the rundown?
Yeah.
I think where we all sent the documents that we heard, there's a woman named Gloria sent us earlier today. Did everyone get those? Do you know, Brian?
I don't know for sure if they did or not. But I'll just go on. So we're basically doing a taxable refinancing. This actually, a lot of this goes hand in hand with the TIF amendments. There's 3 borrowings, 3 things being refinanced. There's a TIF 6 refinancing. What we're doing there is we're trying to reduce the payments and get more money into TIF 5 and get the Garden Circle paid off earlier. We're also doing a refinancing of a ban, which is a combination of 2 in there. There's TIF 9, majority of it's TIF 9, like 3.5 million, and 3,550,000 is related to TIF 9, and there's some for TIF 4 of 700,000. They're all taxable. At the time, they were over 3%. Both of them combined are 2.5 to 3%. The net interest cost is 1.61%. You're never going to get lower than this for a taxable rate. Just from what they sent me in the repayment schedule, we're saving 2%, basically almost 1% or almost 1% in interest. For taxable, that's incredible. So probably got the best taxable rate we'll ever get. So right now we're looking at refinancing in the future here fairly quick, early next year. So hopefully these rates stay the same because we're going to save a ton of interest costs right now.
Well, that's great news. Doug, I did just forward you the 2 documents that they sent us from Jeff's office this afternoon. If you want to take a look at those, they have some of the numbers and some comparison numbers.
Okay. Yeah, I got that.
Okay. So I don't know if you had any questions for Mark.
No, it's, good news.
Guess we can't argue with it, huh?
I'd be curious what the non-taxable rates are right now. So
0 maybe, huh? I don't.
so it's gonna be low.
It's amazing. Well, I guess if there aren't any further questions, I'm not sure what happened to Kathy. But Joan, do you need a roll call for this?
Yes, we probably should do a roll call for this.
Okay, and did we have a motion? Actually,
No,
okay.
no, we did not.
Okay,
I'll move approval.
and I will second. Sorry about that. Joan, do you want to call the roll? Unless there's any other questions, Doug, or
Nope.
any questions? Okay. Joan,
Okay.
please call the roll.
Mayor O'Connor,
Aye.
Alder Wood,
All right.
Motion passes. Thank you. The next item is the financial report. So Mark, that's.
Yep. Yeah, so this is the financial report. I don't know what numbering system you have. I'm on page 165. Just gonna start from there.
Yep.
165. So
Is that the
basically, this is where we're
general
at through the
fund?
month of July. I want to say just kind of the COVID all relates to COVID-19, a lot of this stuff. We're probably you can stick around 150,000 shortfall. I kind of talk where some of those numbers are. But just on page 165, license and permits, I got projected 200,000 over budget in the plus. It shows 50,000 there. We just, the month of August, we'll get the next meeting. We just got the riverfront, a lot of those permits. So that's getting closer up to like 200,000 over projecting out. So that number is, riverfront is kind of the saving grace right now. Court penalties and fines, that's probably gonna be a shortfall about 60,000. Just one of those things. Not writing we're writing a lot of tickets. So it's having the impact there. On the next page, 166, park shelter rentals, just not really renting out the shelters. So about 21,000 shortfall. I had projecting, there's no zero money in there right now, except for $50, which will be moved. For boat launch fees collections, it's collected in another account. We're gonna make our 21,000. I didn't think we would this year, just based on last year's number, but with the COVID-19, there's more people boating right now, just being on the lake and fishing. So boat licenses are actually up this year. I don't know if you've been hearing, like boat sales and kayak sales are, I think, are kind of high, really high this year. With that, underneath that, school officer, I got the first payment. It did come in here in September for the first quarter or first of the year. So I don't know exactly. I have this right now. It's 54,000 short. That's all going to depend on how we're going to hash this out with the school district. Are they going to have our school officer? Will they pay for the first month or so, or first quarter, second quarter? So then we're still, it's a play-by-ear thing right now.
Well, Mark, can I just confirm our contract stipulates that they have to pay through June, whatever, doesn't it? I mean, there's no provision in the contract that if they're not in school, they don't, in the current contract, is there, or the one that expired on June 30th?
I believe they do. This all goes into this next school year. So this covers next year's school year, so this fourth quarter of the school year, they would have to pay.
So did we receive payment for the whole school, all of last school year?
First quarter we've received so far. We haven't received the second quarter yet. So we haven't received from March to June yet. We received the first 3 months. We haven't
Okay.
received.
But I'm assuming we should be receiving the second 3 months since that was covered by the former contract, correct?
We should.
Okay. But then that contract expired on June 30th, is that correct?
Yes.
So from now on, okay, all right.
I think they're meeting tomorrow, from my understanding. They'll be on the school board agenda tomorrow.
Okay,
Interest income is projected about $150,000 shortfall for that. So that's kind of the big areas. The expenses are kind of, most of them right on schedule, are okay for the general fund. Nothing really.
Mark, you're on mute.
Sorry. The rest of the general fund expenses are pretty much on target. There's gonna be some savings for the fuel and some other things, but there's some areas that we probably might go over. So if you go to page 180.
Mark, I had a question. I know you had a note on page 171 that 20,000 overage for the retiree payout. Is that something we just didn't anticipate or?
Yeah, so that was Vicki Peterson retired, and she put all her into the opt-out. Was a large payment that went in there. So that was not anticipated at the time.
Okay.
We did last year's budget.
Okay.
It's page 180, 181. I actually go to page 184. This is kind of a summary of the 204 funds. As you see, the projections for the community center, we're not getting the revenue, but the expenses won't be much. We should break even on that. The rec fund is one of those funds. I'm still there, but I think we're going to probably be -40 in the hole in that. Senior center should break even. On the outdoor pool, we should have a gain at least 10 to 20,000, maybe more. Page 185 is probably one area of concern. It's EMS, ambulance fund, the fees. Fees collections are way down. One of the biggest areas we run into, the runs are down, and also one of the areas is a lot of the patients that we're collecting now are Medicaid and Medicare. They don't pay the regular billing rate. We billed $57,000 worth of charges one month in just the month of July, and we only received 10,000 of that. So you can see that's one of the areas of concern. We're doing a lot more Medicaid and Medicare patients this year than we have in the past. So that's reducing our revenues. So probably the shortfall, close to 76,000. They do have a large fund balance, so they're covered by their own fund balance, enough to cover that and still be okay. But it's something we're gonna have to see if that picks up, where we start getting more private pay, insurance payments. But it's gonna Medicare and Medicaid, that kind of hurts the collections.
Mark, do we have an idea why it's there's so many more calls, I guess, or proportion of calls are Medicare, Medicaid?
That I don't. From what I've told from a couple of people, is people are waiting to call for the ambulance assistance. So I think maybe the ones that are actually calling are more the Medicare and Medicaid patients. The ones that are waiting, they're not calling at all, or the insurance people, or they maybe just not going or going on their own to the hospitals once they can get in, the clinics. So I don't really have an answer for that.
Yeah, you kind of assume it's COVID related, but you don't know that for sure. So it's kind of.
There will be some savings on the expense sides. We do have one full-timer who's now, he's in the National Guard, one of the guards who's been there basically the whole year. So we're saving on his
Is
salary.
that the
'cause he's
police
collecting-
department?
No, for fire,
Fire?
EMS, there's a full timer that's
Okay,
on duty right now. So he's actually selected to receive the National Guard money. So there is a little bit of savings there. So that helps them offset some of that shortage with the revenues. On the next page, 187 is probably the next area where we added this number gets transferred back into. This is the tourism fund. So this is your hotel tax. So we're going to estimate to collect probably 160,000. Our city share that we would transfer back into the general fund is 202,000. So we're going to be short that 42,000. So we kind of add all this stuff up together. That's why it's going to get around to 150,000 is where we're kind of going to be in the hole at the end of the year, which is good. We have enough fund balance to cover it, but that's where some of these numbers are. We are getting a lot more money. I'm sorry.
Is
Kathy?
everyone up to date with their payments?
Yes, they are now. Everybody is up to date. Okay. The other thing is we received a lot more Air and B money. That's been kind of a big thing this year. It's the first year we passed it, I think, in the law in 2020. So we're receiving a lot more money there. A lot of people are renting their houses out right now. So
How much have we received from that?
probably about 20,000.
Oh, wow.
6
So-
months.
Do you have a separate, are you going to have a separate line for that, or?
I just put it all in one. I mean, I could separate if you needed to, but all that's.
I think it'd be interesting to know. Now, that's also subject to the same law, I assume?
Yep, it's all the same.
Okay.
So,
Do we know how many Airbnbs we have?
I do not. We just get it from them, like Expedient and those large companies will send it. So I don't know how many they control.
Yeah, that's something that Airbnb is required to track the folks that use their platform. They collect the local jurisdiction's tax and then send a check to each municipality. So we don't have a sense of how many people, without going to the platform and scrolling through Monona to count. They're not required to give us a number and say, oh, you have 23 residents in your community. They don't share that.
They just have to give us a gross amount and then how much the percent is. That's all required on the sheet. So that's all I have as far as the financials, and that's. But again, it's probably going to roughly give or take around 150,000 down a little bit. But as far as all we went through, it's pretty good. As far as back to the EMS too, we did apply for. That was due a couple months ago for some CARES Act money. So that will hopefully get reimbursed for some of that too for lost revenues. So that is one of their one of the things they're reimbursing EMSs for is lost revenue.
Oh, so we could get some of that.
Yeah, we'll get some of it back. I don't know what dollar amount. We'll probably have to do some updated financials where they're going to ask for current numbers. But at the time, it was up through, I believe, May 31st. Was the first time we had to give a report to them and what we had lost up to that point. So I'm sure they'll come back and say, give us more information. And maybe they'll give us more money.
So is that coming out of that 127,000 or whatever it was that we were allocated by the state, or is that from a separate?
It's a separate thing altogether.
Okay. All right. I guess do you have any, Doug or Kathy, you have any other questions about the financial report?
No.
I have one.
Okay, Doug.
The money you just mentioned, the CARES Act money that we've gotten, is that revenue shown somewhere in the financial report?
We haven't received that the actual money yet. We're still applying for that, so we haven't received the money back. It's due. There's one's due September 15th, so I'm working on that one to fill all the paperwork out for that.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, if there's nothing else, we can move on to reviewing the bills. Mark, do you want to?
Yeah. There's not a ton of stuff. Just page 210, I just want to hit on this advanced disposal. The rebate is up this year, 2,500. We were in the 1,800s not too long ago, so it's good sign. I don't know if that's more people because COVID-19 or recycling more or what that exactly is.
Take it.
Let's see here. Page, if you go to page 215, H.J. Peter Roads Plumbing, that's for a water heater repair within the city. That was part of a capital for 2020. Underneath that, HydroCorp is part of the capital too, the cross connection inspections that was budgeted for in 2020. Not too far underneath that is Kilgus. This is kind of why Brad's working on a lot of these HVAC repairs. Here's one for 2,900 for HVAC on that page. If you go to the next page, you got library maintenance, 2,100, and then you have the boiler repairs of 1,400. So
Was the boiler repair at the library or where was that?
that was at the city hall.
Okay.
Underneath that, you see a lot of the purchases with the library. They still are, even with the shutdown, still keeping up their inventory. It's just a lot of books they've been purchasing. Page 220. Architecture planning. So it's the Woodland Parks construction. So it's the part of the planning process. Just so you know, this project will probably be done in next year, but they are underway with the planning of it. Right underneath that, PDS, electronic poll books. We'll be using that at the November elections. From what I've heard from Joan, they work really well.
I've got one question on 219.
Sure.
Under the stormwater utility, why are we paying money for the kiddie pool? The bathhouse has got $232 if the pool isn't open. It's under Monona Water Utility on page 219.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. There's with the water utility, with the utilities, there is a building. So there could be a part of the stormwater charge. It could be also the public fire protection charge.
Oh, okay.
It's not the usage charge, so it'd be those type of charges. And
Okay.
a lot of pervious, impervious.
And is that probably the story with the Greenway bubbler too? Because I thought that wasn't working.
I would assume that's probably the same thing.
Dan?
But Dan might know more.
Yeah, usually when there's a charge like that, that means the account is active. So as long as water and sewer, if there's a meter in, they're going to be billed minimum for water and sewer and stormwater charges.
Okay.
If it's not an active account, there shouldn't be a charge. But I believe every parcel will have a charge for stormwater because they have frontage on a road. But base charges for water and sewer, as long as there's a meter in there, they're going to be charged a base charge.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
And page 222, kind of winding down here, soils and engineering services. This is finishing up the Winnequa Park PCB testing, finishing up that project. Should be done fairly soon. Underneath that, too far as Strand, as you know, they're wrapping up a lot of projects, the HVAC, Gateway Greens, Stonebridge Park, leaf analysis. So they're doing a lot of work for us right now. And that's all I have.
All right. Any further questions? Doug or Kathy? No?
Nope.
And I realized I forgot to read that, so I will right now. Is there a motion to accept general fund accounts payable checks dated August 14th to September 3rd, 2020?
So move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Accounts payable are accepted. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
I'll Second.
Who would like to second? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? See you all in 15 minutes, okay?